what does a real festival need? Right, its own beer. And that's exactly what we got here at the GREENTECH Festival 2021. The beer is called Zero, and it's brewed by Brlo. And I'm really happy that you are joining me today. Katharina, you are the co-founder of Brlo. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Hi, Clemens. I'm very happy to be here.
First question, Katharina, is why are you an exhibitor at the GREENTECH Festival?
Well, I met Marco Vogt, the founder of GREENTECH Festival, I think end of last year, and we started talking about GREENTECH Festival, and I think it's amazing what the entire team here has created over the past years. And we started talking about a potential beer partnership. And then we said, well, it's boring just to supply beer to the festival. I think the festival, as you said, should have its own beer.
Yeah.
And then we knew, okay, we actually have to step it up and think about the beer more conceptually and really make it into a more sustainable beer and showcase what we can do with it.
And what's so special about Zero? I mean, it tastes delicious, but what else?
Well, first of all, it's an alcohol-free pale ale because we said, if we do a festival beer, people and visitors should enjoy it all throughout the festival, all day long, even now, already at lunchtime. And so I think alcohol-free was the first thing that came to our mind. And then we also thought about all the different ways we can make it more sustainable. So meaning, of course, organic certification. So all the raw materials are sourced as locally as possible, all organic from suppliers that we know. What's also very special about it is that we used leftover bread from a bakery called Zeit für Brot. So we replaced part of our malt, of our grain, with leftover bread to brew it, and that means we could also reduce some food waste. So I think conceptually that's a very nice thing. And to top things, then MAN was able to partner up with us, and for the last mile delivery directly fresh from the brewers with an e-truck to really deliver the beer.
That sounds really excellent. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. But the Beer Zero is not the only beer in your portfolio, right?
Exactly.
What products do you else offer?
Every year we brew about 20 to 30 different beer styles. So for us, really diversity and variety in beer is the most important thing. We really want to showcase how exciting and various beer can be. And I think even though in Germany we're so proud of our beer heritage, beer has become a little bit commoditized over the last decades. It's all kind of the same styles. So that's what we really want to shake up. And we want to always come up with new ways to show beer, to explain it to people, and to bring it into new contexts. And I think GREENTECH Festival is a great place for that as well.
Mm. How important is sustainability in general for your company?
It is very important, and we're always taking, it's a process, right? So we're always taking steps to get better and better. And what's interesting in the brewing industry is that for the big industrial brewers, sustainability is actually almost easier to achieve because they have big production capabilities. So there's a lot of economies of scale, and sustainability in brewing always means reducing water, reducing energy, and that also means you save money in the end, so it's actually an economic factor as well. So for smaller breweries like us that brew in small batches, brew very, very diverse beer styles, these economies of scale are quite hard to achieve. So what we need to do is really think about all different ways how we can be more sustainable. So for example, what do we do with the waste from the production, the spent grain? So we give it to pig farmers, for example, as pig feed. Or we also working with some startups that grow mushroom mycelium on the spent grain. So we're thinking of all these different ways. Then we also have a big gastronomy in Berlin, a brew house, where we actually put vegetables first. So meat is the conscious side dish. And I think that's really also a new concept because, beer gastronomy has always been super meat heavy. Yeah. And then, but also for 2021, this is really where we want to step up the game. So right now we're working with our partner Planetly, that's also an exhibitor here, to become climate neutral starting this year. And so we can also call Brlo Zero climate neutrally produced, and I think so they will really help us look at all of our different processes, how we can really reduce our footprint, and then also help us offset it.
So again, it's all about cooperating, right?
Exactly. I think that's the most important thing. And also, when it comes to sustainability, I think everybody should copy each other. You know, you should learn from mistakes, but also take ideas and copy it, because that's how everybody can get better. And again, I think it's a process, and I think it's just important that every company starts doing what they can and improve.
You, as a woman, are leading a brewery company. Is that something, I would say, normal or common, or is that new in this field?
It is quite a male-dominated field, let's put it this way. The beer industry as a whole, also the whole beverage sector. Founders of startups, of new brewing startups, as a woman, that is not very rare, not very common. But there are a lot of women actually that really enjoy this new beer culture, this new beer diversity, be it as bars or brewers. So what we with Brlo always had as a mission, because if you look at like traditional beer advertising, it's super sexist. You know, it's always guys like drinking beer, watching soccer, and some girl bringing the beer or something like that. Yeah. So obviously we want to change that. So for us at Brlo, it was always important that we're talking to men and women alike, because there are so many women that love drinking beer, and we don't want to, but also we don't want to make beer for women. So it's really, we're I say, gender neutral beer, you know, and the way we communicate, and I think that's the best way how we can bring about change and also encourage other women to maybe come into the industry.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about packaging, which is obviously a huge issue. What do you prefer? Glass, cans, paper bottles? What's the way to go?
I think paper bottles, let's start with that. I think that's an interesting concept that was put forward by Carlsberg. And I think that needs to be tested in which way it's really, it can be applied at a larger scale. So right now it's difficult to tell. In Germany, I think what's really special is that we have the Mehrweg system, the returnable bottle system. Which we also, of course, participate. So what we do is we use bottles that everybody else can use, every other brewer can use. The same with our crates. They can be reused by everybody else. It's not branded. If you look at bigger breweries, they often have their own embossed bottles, you know, where you have the brewery name like really into the bottle. And that actually makes it not that returnable and reusable. I mean, it can be returned to that brewery, but it often lands at other breweries or at wholesalers, and they don't know what to do with these bottles. So it is kind of, it's not so black and white. Cans, on the other hand, have a very bad reputation in Germany, but the material, aluminum, is infinitely recyclable. I think it's also good that we have the mandatory deposit of 25 cents, so that actually ensures that cans will get recycled or will get returned at a very large percentage. And for the beer, it's actually the best packaging, and it also reduces logistics, because it's you get twice the amount of beer on the same space and the same weight. So I still prefer bottles, to be honest, but it's not so black and white. So I think the most important thing is that we go back to a system that everybody can use. And I think that's what especially all the small brewers do. And you were talking about collaborations, and you're like the festival beer, right? Everybody is talking about you and your brand and drinking your beer. But still, what are you looking for at the GREENTECH Festival? I think we're looking at inspiration from all angles, and I think you get that everywhere. I mean, there's lots of mobility, so logistics is a huge part of the beverage industry, because beer is a very heavy product. You need to bring it from A to B. If you're not just selling around your Kirchturm, around your vicinity, then logistics and the footprint is a huge topic. So I think that idea with cooperating with MAN for the last mile, I think that will give us new ideas. And the same thing, I think it's always great to to have other industries inspire us from what we do. And beer, because you said everybody's excited about it, I think beer is such a passionate product that everybody can relate to and that can communicate so many different things. And that's why we love doing cooperations in all different aspects around beer. And I think it really can transport a lot of different ideas.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us and creating this really delicious beer. Katharina, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Same.
Getting
Cheers.
a few insights about the beer and Brlo. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.